Hello and welcome to Blunt Talk. I'm your host CaliOGP and this is UNreduced TV. On Blunt Talk, of course, this is the show where we talk about real world issues, real world problems, while I smoke a blunt, roll up, something to do with weed, right? We started this show because I wasn't able to necessarily mix different worlds, right? I love to smoke weed, but I was in finance at the time, and finance people didn't really smoke weed. You got doctors and lawyers that I'm meeting with, and they're not smoking weed. And at the end of the day, I realized they're just like you and I who do smoke weed. So what I wanted to do is go over to them, steal some of their lessons, and bring them to you on Blunt Talk. They're never gonna watch this show, so that's okay. This show's for me and you. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let me go ahead and spark this up for today. I have not smoked all day, so I am a little bit amped up, man. This movie right here is called Baptizing a Blunt. I wrote this shit early today, but I didn't get around to smoking it. And the reason, I wasn't even going to do a video today, to be honest. The reason I want to do the video today is because I was scrolling through Facebook, just looking for content ideas, just engagement, just looking to have conversations with people.
If everybody likes me, then something ain't right. I was sent to shine bright in the middle of the night. Might never get
right, and as I'm scrolling through Facebook, and if you got some tree out there, go ahead and roll up with me, man. This is Blunt Talk, so guys, girls, whatever you are, go ahead and smoke one for CaliOG, man. Shit, today I'm smoking this one down for Rayshard Brooks, right? Rayshard Brooks. Say his fucking name, Rayshard Brooks. God damn, this one really hit me, man. I know we were pretty much seeing police brutality every single day, right? And there's a great song. I'm gonna probably link it to this video, I think. We'll see if it gets taken down, but
this ain't nothing new, y'all. This been going on. Ex Ryan Morgan's dad, ask Carla Blonde's mom. The word Katrina means pure, but it ain't purified nothing, cause we back still.
That's it. I'll see if it gets taken down, but I'll try to link it to this video. Oh man, sometimes when you roll the blunts early in the morning, man, you get a little bit of shit in your mouth. First couple hits, a little bit of nugs. That's alright. Like I said, Rayshard Brooks, say his fucking name, right? Say his fucking name. God damn it, I'm pissed. Because this is a man. I mean, I'm not gonna act like y'all ignorant now. I know y'all seen the news, so y'all know who this is. This is the guy that was shot outside of Wendy's for falling asleep drunk. That's the premise of it, to be honest. Like, it's not funny at all. It's the premise of it. Like, that's really like why he died, because he fell asleep at a Wendy's drunk. That's why he died. So, I was on Facebook scrolling through, and I wasn't really even gonna say anything on the matter. Because people, I'm like Dave Chappelle in a sense. There's a lot of shit that I do behind the scenes and like just part of my daily life that I don't feel the need to go out and be a martyr at this point. Like the streets got that, like Dave Chappelle said. Like, y'all got this shit, man. Like we are finally speaking up as a voice, as a one united voice, and letting them know we're not taking this shit anymore. But I really wanted to bring to you a personal story that's very similar to the Rayshard Brooks story, except he's not here to tell it, and I am. So, man, let me just get into it. Look. I gotta break down why, like what happened in the Rayshard Brooks, just for people that are gonna act ignorant, right? Whatever. Rayshard Brooks was basically at a Wendy's. He's passed out drunk. An officer, somebody calls the police on him. They call 911, which is a weird thing to do. Like, why in the fuck are you calling 911 on somebody that's passed out in their car? Maybe they're dead. Okay, fine. You're nervous that, like, whatever. But from what I read, the 911 call, I believe, said that the guy was passed out drunk. So, again, the person making the 911 call knew he was drunk. So let's just start there in the first place. Nobody should even call 911 if you know he's drunk, right? The guy's just sleeping it off. And he's in the fucking Wendy's parking lot. Then what happens next is the police officer shows up, interrogates him, basically comes to the conclusion that he's drunk. Again, This is not new knowledge. We already knew this from like the 911 call, right? So we know that this guy is intoxicated. Comes to find out, you know, they call another officer, and come to find out this guy is well over the legal, well, not well over, just barely over the legal limit. I think it was like 1 point something. So it's not like 1.9, it's like 1.2, 1.3, something like that, and the legal limit is 0.8. And that's the legal limit to drive, okay? Now, they don't even like really teach you in school, you know, what it's like to be drunk and you're not driving. They don't teach you all that. They don't teach you how to like just be safe when you actually drink. That's not like a lesson that anybody ever gives you. There's no lesson really outside. Don't fucking drive if you are at 0.8 or higher. If you are at 0.8 or higher and you feel like you are, don't fucking drive. That's the lesson, that's the rule, that's what we're all fucking taught. So Rayshard Brooks is following this rule. And like I said, I get a little bit sweaty when I smoke. I'm passionate about a lot of topics. I'm passionate about this one because, like I said, I got a similar story I'm gonna tell you all in a minute. So they found out he's drunk, you know, over the legal limit. You know, they officially have this now. They have like the test done. They've had him do a field sobriety test. They've had him do a blood alcohol test. So they know for a fact that this guy is over the legal limit. Okay. Now, what happens next is it's beyond me, right? Because again, you have a drunk guy. They're like, okay, well, you're too drunk to be driving. And they immediately go to put the cuffs on him. Like, they don't even give the guy a chance to like refute or say anything back. They just immediately go to put the cuffs on him when they say, I think you've had too much to drive. We're gonna go ahead and take you in tonight. So the guy, like, you know, the guy wants to basically have a chance to like say his piece. You can tell that as a man. You can tell that as a human being. The guy wants to say his piece, and like, these motherfuckers is wild. So they try to put the cuffs on him. He's not gonna just let you put the cuffs on him. So, you know, they both try to like grab him. At that point, you know, he's feeling like this is aggressive. So now he's gonna fight his way out of the situation a little bit to try and get himself to a little bit of a situation where he can look these cops eye to eye. Eye to fucking eye. That's all Rayshard Brooks wants. To look these cops eye to eye and understand what they're feeling. See if he can get on their level somehow and avoid the trouble that he was trying to avoid in the first place. The man didn't want to drink and drive. He pulled over to a Wendy's parking lot and fell asleep. Now, my personal story, no, I'm not even gonna get there yet. So after like the tussle, whatever, you know, the guy, like, they're trying to tase him. They're like, you're gonna get tased, you're gonna get tased. So what does he do? He protects himself. He takes the taser from them. Now this is two police officers who have now been physically outmatched by a drunk man. A drunk man. Again, he's drunk. He's not supposed to be driving. He's not good enough to drive, but he's good enough to take your fucking taser? Bruh. Okay, let's just talk about this a little bit more. So then he gets the taser and he runs off. Why the fuck couldn't you just let him go? Why couldn't you just tase him? Why did you have to shoot the man in the back? Wow, they shot him in the back. They shot a man with a taser in the back. When you are a police officer, you actually get tased as part of your training. So you know what the shit feels like. It must feel so bad that you never want it to happen to you ever again, and you just shoot the person that's got a taser. You got two people. Two people. He can't tase you both. He can't. So, again, gets shot in the back. That's how that ends. He's dead. Rayshard Brooks is not here to tell you his story about how that one night he got drunk as hell and passed out in Wendy's parking lot. But CaliOGP is here to tell you a story about how I got drunk as hell at 18 years old with one of my best friends. We were at a graduation party for seniors, and I learned the lesson to not fall asleep in a parking lot at the age of 18. And I'm here to tell you the lesson. I'm here to teach it to you. It's just something you don't do. You just don't fall asleep in a public place, because public property is enforceable by police officers. So no matter where you are, you cannot fall asleep in a car with the keys in the ignition. You gotta put them in the glove box, put them in the trunk, something like that. But you can't fall asleep with the keys in the ignition. In my opinion, this would have went south regardless. These cops decided that he was a guy that they decided they wanted to pursue the full extent of the law on. I happened to be one of those young kids at the time when I was 18 years old that they didn't want to pursue the full right of the law. When I was 18, I told you, I got drunk as hell at a graduation party. And I was living in the dorms on campus. And we weren't, like, me and my boy, we weren't really trying to go back to the dorms, because if we went back to the dorms smelling like the alcohol we smelled like, oh man, there were strippers at the party, so we would get, we was in there having a good fucking time. And we left alive. And we go to our car and we tried to drive. We're not even gonna lie, we tried to drive to the dorms. We thought, fuck, we're just drunk as hell. There's no way they're not going to know at the dorms that we're drunk. And if you got drunk at the dorms, you got in trouble. Because drinking when you're under 21 is not even something you're supposed to be doing. Again, Rayshard Brooks was 26, 27 years old. Fuck, man. He's 26, 27 years old doing an adult grown thing by pulling over into a Wendy's parking lot and falling asleep, and he's dead. For anybody who can try to justify that, it's fuck no. Fuck out of here. This man cannot be his murder cannot be justified. Anyway, I was really livid whenever I saw people trying to justify this shit online. So I had to come to you with this story about my encounter. Because me and my friend went to the top of a parking garage. And we parked. And we fell asleep. And we hadn't been asleep for too long when there's a knock on the door. A knock on the window. It's a police officer. My friend rolls the window down. I acted like I was asleep. The cop asked my friend, "Have you been drinking?" My friend says, "No." The cop says again, "Have you been drinking?" He says, "No." Now again, I was acting like I was asleep, but the whole time I'm awake. So then the cop looks at me, he says, "I know you're awake." And he asked me, have you all been drinking?" And I said, "No." That's what we said no 3 fucking times. 3 times to this police officer. But we were drunk as hell. We lied. Rayshard Brooks lied. I get it. We lied too. A lot of people lie in that situation. Does that make us bad people? Does that mean I haven't done shit for my community? Does that mean my friend doesn't teach kids how to play music? Fuck out of here. No, it has nothing to do with your character, because you're trying to make it out of a situation in the best way you can when you haven't even been taught how to do so. We pulled to the parking garage because we didn't think we were in even a spot that could get in police activity. We had no idea. So when a police officer shows up there and says, "Hey, I have a right to be here just like you do," and he's gonna question us about it, we lied. So we lied about being drunk, and the officer's like, to my friend, "Have you been drinking tonight?" And my friend finally caves. He finally caves because the officer knows. He fucking knows. You can tell by the way he's asking the questions. The officer fucking knows that we were lying. And my friend says, "Yeah, we were drinking tonight. Honestly, we just didn't want to go back to the dorm, man. We don't want to get in trouble. We're not trying to hurt nobody. We just want to sleep it off and go home alive." Now, he didn't say the alive part, but that's what the fuck he meant. We don't want to go home. We don't want to go to jail and get our prettiness taken away, right? We don't want to go to jail and have our careers taken away and our futures taken away. We don't want any of that to happen. We felt like our lives would be over that night if we didn't lie, and so we did. And then when we found out it wasn't gonna work, we tried to tell them the truth, and it worked. The truth fucking worked. Me and my friend in West Virginia on that night, I got drunk as hell on an 18th graduation party, an 18-year-old graduation party. you know, for some college senior, man, we found empathy from a cop. Rayshard Brooks was not lucky, and there were 2 of them. They had twice as many police officers. He had twice as many police officers as my friend and I did. And he got no empathy. You see, I'm pissed. And you should be pissed too. Everything should burn. Until they start treating us like we're human beings. That's all we fucking want. I saw little Johnny get freed. I started making videos to help people out. But I might be shot dead before an officer even knows that. My friend who teaches children how to play music, how to compose music, how to take part in a choir or a band. His life might be snuffed out. All because of the color of his skin and not the value that he provides to his community. We don't know anything about Rayshard Brooks because they killed him too early to find out. This is Blunt Talk. I'm CaliOGP. Let us know what you think in the comments and tune in for the next video. Until then, live unreduced.